optic glass.
Hey gang, welcome back to Death Curse Society. I'm your host, Red Crank. These are my friends. We got Moly Michael down here. We got Zigzag, and we got the Colonel. It's time to talk about all things horror in the world, so you know what? Let's go camping.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
Our topic for Let's Go Camping is The Strangers Pray at Night. New movie coming out March 9th. It is a sequel of sorts. We're going to talk about that today. But first, let's check out the trailer, the new extended trailer for Strangers Pray at Night.
This place seems empty.
I think everybody leaves after Labor Day.
This is nice, right?
There's someone else staying here?
Is Tamara home?
I think you have the wrong trailer.
I thought we were all alone.
What the hell?
Dad?
Come on, please.
That's what they say when we're together. And watch how you play. They don't understand, and so we're running just as fast as we can, holding on to one another, trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me, and we tumble to the ground. And then we say, think we're alone. Think we're alone. Doesn't seem anyone around.
Leave us alone!
But we've just started.
Think we're alone now.
All right, so that's the new full trailer for The Strangers Pray at Night. Zag, talk to us about it.
Yeah, again, this is 10 years after the first film, and they've been trying to get this out now for a good 8 years. Looks like they got it going here finally, and it looks okay. It looks the same kind of formula, creepy and everything. And the claim again is it's based on reality, but what I found with this one, not based on reality, inspired by true events. That's a difference, and it's
Right.
something they can get away with a little bit more here, and hopefully be a little more entertaining this time.
Right, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Colonel, what do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, the trailer looks pretty decent. I like how they're kind of using the same formula, but getting away from the first one. I was not a very big fan of the first film, but based on this trailer, I kind of like the direction I think they're going to take it into. I'm definitely going to have to check it out.
Moly, what do you got?
Well, as Colonel said, it does look a little more interesting than the first one. I mean, the first one was pretty basic and laid out. You know, you just had the people in the house. This one looks like they're branching out a little more, trying a few new things. Granted, it's been, 10 years since his family's killed anybody, apparently, so maybe they got a little smarter. So I guess I'll check it out. I'm still not too impressed with either one of them.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about the original movie here in a little bit too, but I'm just worried that this trailer is one of those everything good is in the trailer situations. You know, they took
pretty bad with this movie.
Yeah, they took the 2.5 minutes of really good stuff, threw it in the trailer, and then the rest of the 90 minutes of the rest of the movie is long and drawn out, kind of like the first one. But you know, that's my worry about it. One of our tasks over the last week was to go back and look at The Strangers. You guys all got a chance to see the movie. I watched it a couple nights ago again. but I'll start with Molly on this one.
All right. Well, I did go back and watch it again. I think it's probably the third time now I've seen it. I think the first thing I noticed was I forgot that Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman were in it. So, you know, that's not really a big thing, but neither one of them done much besides Speedman being in Underworld.
Big names for back then.
Yeah, you know, she did her Armageddon and whatnot. It has the spooky moments, you know, with her being terrorized before he even gets there, you know, and opens the curtains and boom, there's fucking the dad, you know. It had a few jump scares in there, but still overall, after watching it yet again, all I took from it is the mask from the father. It's the only thing that's a little spooky to me.
Colonel, what do you, did you get to watch the old movie again?
Yes, sir. Actually, this is my first time watching it just a few nights ago. So I was coming in here with no preconceived notions other than ones I had 10 years ago when it was first released. I will say that I thought it was a pretty basic standard thriller. It had some good, decent spots to it, a little drawn out. Really didn't find anything special about it other than, like I said, Liv Tyler and one of my favorite TV characters, Dennis Reynolds. It was nice seeing him get a shotgun blast to the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't see why it was deserving of a sequel. I really didn't find anything that attractive about it.
Gotcha. Zag, what do you got? Talk to us about The Strangers.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I'm a fan of the reality-based, you know, things that could really happen to you that suck, you know. And I mean, and this isn't just a home invasion. There's a little more to it because some of the lines even like, "Why are you doing this?" You know, because you were home. Just there's no.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of the, you know, the darkness to it, and I appreciate that. I like it, but the big hype behind this whole thing was this is based on reality, and you know, it got me to go digging and looking to see exactly what they were talking about. So. And then, you know, I found a few things in there, you know, like they loosely mentioned the Manson murders, and there's one main one in the Czech Republic that's really kind of the group dynamic chasing a couple of people into their private home and torturing them like that. But I mean, overall, it's just loosely based, and that's a Hollywood trick they like to play. Yeah, it was neat seeing this movie again. You know, Liv Tyler, she's decent. The movie made $80 million. That's pretty much why we're getting the sequel now.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. My thoughts on the original Strangers is it was a student film to me. That's basically what it was. It should have been more like 20 minutes long instead of a feature film. And I don't know if you guys realize this when you, I don't know if you guys realize this when you watched it, but the original runtime in theaters was 85 minutes, which is barely a feature minimum for a feature film is 80 minutes. So it's barely a feature film. 8 minutes of that was the end credits. So they stretched the hell out of that. Watching the movie again, and these are things hopefully they'll fix in the sequel. Personally, the main characters, Kristen and James, Liv Tyler, Scott Speedman, they're not likable people. I don't give a shit about these people. I mean, it introduces a little kind of plot twist at the beginning or the first 15 minutes of the movie where I guess she turns down a marriage proposal from him, but then wants to have sex with him when they get back to the house. Okay, this is why women, for any women out there watching, this is why you're confusing. If guys are saying, I don't understand you, that's why. If you turn down a wedding proposal and then you're like, hey, let's go have sex, that's why right there. That's exactly it. Zag said Liv Tyler was fine. Is she? I think her acting is emotionless. It's like watching her stare at a McDonald's menu for 90 minutes, you know? I do understand why some people like these movies. I mean, they're great for dates. There are some decent scares, like Molly mentioned. And home invasions are a real fear for some people. But I also realize why they're attractive to producers. I mean, there were 8 people in the cast total. And it's cheap to make.
Not many sets either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, one set basically, you know, an exterior and an interior. And that was basically it. Now, the thing, I wouldn't necessarily call it a horror movie. Definitely a suspense movie. I wouldn't call it a horror movie, though, or a thriller. Yeah.
Yeah, thriller.
Because the protagonist killed as many people as the antagonist in the movie. I mean, if I watch a horror movie, I'm expecting freaking body count. Stack them up, baby.
I feel like you're onto
Not
something.
the good guys kill one person and the bad guys kill one person.
Well, that line too was kind of cool. Spoiler alert. Next time it'll be easier. I feel good with them being. They don't have to stick to it. They can go nuts if they want. They could really go all full blown horror with this one, and it could be a lot better. But they're probably going to stay safe and do the same movie again. That's usually what these kind of big studio films do.
Well, it's like these so-called killers in the movie. They came in, wanted to scare the hell out of you, had an opportunity to kill you numerous times. They just want to torture you, mess with you. Like, oh, I'm done now.
Yeah. What? Oh, I'm going to kill you, but first I'm going to play piano for a little bit. And I'm not even that good at piano over here.
Right, because you were home, so I could play on your piano. How about finishing up
and how rude were they? They're just going to change the record on people? You don't touch somebody's record player. That's just rude. Like, come on.
Although, they did pick Merle Haggard, so, at least they have some taste. This was something I noticed when I was watching it again, and I don't do this very often, especially if I'm watching movies I like. I check the clock and the runtime 7 times during 85 minutes, 90 minutes. Just, how long do I have left to watch this? Oh, okay. 30 more minutes? I think I can make that.
I have a mechanism in my ass. It starts to go numb if the movie sucks.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so Zag already touched on this based on true events deal. I know Zag's got a couple of examples that he's found that they talk about. I know this has been done before. Hell, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre did it. No, there wasn't a guy with a chainsaw running around in, Fort Worth, or Waco, cutting people up like that with a weird redneck hillbilly family. But the original movie at least says inspired by true events, and even the trailer says based on true events for the new movie. The director and writer of the original had said that it was inspired by something from his youth, where someone came and knocked on their door, asked for someone that wasn't home, and then left, and then they find out the next day that a bunch of houses in the neighborhood had gotten broken into. So he took that little kernel and turned it into the 90 minutes. But Zag, talk to us about what you found based on true events.
Yeah, I did see the director's notes on that too, and he mentioned that. But then, I wanted to go deeper because there were people going, oh, no, this is real. This all happened. This all actually happened. So I went digging and found a couple of pretty good sites where obviously these people don't have lives to do what they did to find this stuff. But basically it comes down to 3 pretty major stories that happened throughout, the last 50 years. One of them being the Manson murders. And everybody knows about it and knows what happened there. Okay, very vague, very loose, but okay, you can say that.
Right.
The second one was something called Cabin 28 murders, where there's a famous 911 phone call where a woman discovers her family that she was going to meet at their cabin hammered to death, hacked to pieces, and it's just blood everywhere, and it's very chilling. That's real, okay? And that's part of it. And then the third one, where the group dynamic chasing the people and eventually catching and killing them, was based on something that happened in the Czech Republic, but there's no actual account or authorities record of this, leading many to believe this is kind of the Blair Witch approach, and they kind of went that way. So that's kind of why we're at the inspired by here on this one. That's
kind of an urban legend.
Yes.
Yeah. Colonel, what do you think about movies that say inspired by true events but base it on a pubic hair of actual evidence?
To be honest with you, I don't give it much thought because I know it's a bunch of BS. You brought up Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, okay. Again, okay, very loosely based.
Loosely.
That's why I just don't buy any stock into it. That doesn't grab my attention. It's hocus pocus Hollywood crap. Try to pull people into the theaters. I mean, if it says based on true events, oh, cool, whatever. if I like it, I'm going to go see it, but that's not bringing me into the theater.
Right. Molly, what do you think?
All right. Well, I mean, you got your based on movies. That would be like, almost a documentary on Ed Gein, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. There's even one played by Kane Hodder playing Ed Gein, which makes no sense. But then you got Inspired By. Now, when you're talking about Inspired By, just take a quick look at what gave Wes Craven the idea for the look of Freddy Krueger. He was inspired by, when he was a child, looking out his window, seeing this old-looking dude in this freaking hat, just staring up at his bedroom window. When he went down, he came back up, he was still there. That's what inspired him. That's not what, that's what it's about. I mean, that's an inspiration. It's just like music. What you're inspired by is going to reflect on what you come up with.
Right.
So, inspired by and based on, they really need to make sure they know what the hell they're talking about when they say one of them. Because based to me means you're really talking about the actual facts of a certain case. Now, inspired by, that could be anything.
Well, hey, man, we're the DCS Detective Agency. We're here to uncover this bullshit for you guys. We'll dig through it, filter it out, and we'll give it back to you.
That works. That works. We're like the Encyclopedia Brown of the horror world.
Right.
One last thing I will say about The Strangers is saying it's inspired by true events is like saying I was inspired to eat SpaghettiOs by an Olive Garden commercial. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah.
We've got to take a quick break. We're going to go to a few commercials real quick. We'll be back right after this, and we got a few trailers to show you when we come back, so stick around.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back, because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back!
Rated M for mature.
Do you like Death Curse Society?
Support the DCS by advertising with us. We have several different ways to advertise. Sponsor a segment or a complete show, 30 or 60-second commercials, product placements or service discussion, banner ads with links on our interactive website, full website page sponsorships, get Facebook and Twitter mentions from our host or special guests, special shout-outs on our YouTube channel, and more. You can even advertise regionally through our website and keep your costs down, or ask about our package deals to save even more. Visit our website at deathcursesociety.com and click on the advertising sponsorship link under contact on the main menu. Thanks.
They're back.
Hey guys, we're back. I'm Red Crank. This is Zigzag, the Colonel, and Moley. Let's go tell some stories around the campfire real quick.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, come back!
All right, our first story around the campfire today is a first look at the Slender Man trailer. They just dropped this a couple weeks ago. Check this out and we'll talk about it right after.
Where is my daughter? People don't just disappear.
It's in your head. Like a virus.
All right. There you go. The Slender Man trailer. Who wants to start this? Let's go with Colonel.
Okay. So here's my thoughts on the Slender Man trailer. Not really knowing much about the Slender Man, and other than that, it was a raid for all the teenagers years ago.
Preteens, really.
Preteens, yeah, exactly, preteens. I thought it looked like your basic teenage horror flick, just to try to make a quick buck. There were some elements I thought looked pretty cool, but I just think it's going to be a terrible story and a terrible movie.
All right, Molly.
If we're just talking about the trailer, I really don't have much that really stands out. I watched it twice, I believe, and no, there's nothing there that even sticks in my mind, really. Not looking forward to it. Not going to watch it at the theater. Maybe not going to watch it on DVD.
All right, Zag.
I mean, do you see the pattern here with the big Hollywood studios making these movies? I mean, I hate to beat a dead horse, but man, I mean, it's called Slender Man. He was in the trailer for 10 seconds. I mean, the character, this is a great character, and he's creepy as fuck, for sure, but what are you doing with it here? I mean, we had some real stuff. You had people blaming this thing for their bad behavior, these kids. They don't want to take any blame for anything. And so we got the Slender Man to blame now. Oh, we can't find. He's never going to be brought to task on this. See, I don't know. And people are getting offended that this movie was even made, like it's taking a slap at these people who were victimized in the name of the Slender Man thing when this all went down. But as this movie, again, just looks another in the long line of just like, yep, that's a cool name. It's in the public right now. Let's make the thing and make as much as we can, wring it out, and then throw it away and never look back at it again. This thing will be forgotten before it ever hits the theaters.
For their sake, I really hope they didn't put any of the good parts in that movie, in that trailer.
They probably did. They're probably all of
imagine if any of that trailer is any of their good stuff, then it's cool.
There's a whole controversy about taking the Slender Man story and bringing it to the screen, you know, now, after the girls in Wisconsin had just been basically committed for several years now for attempted murder on one of their friends in the name of Slender Man. And actually one of the fathers of the victims is, I don't know if he's suing or trying to block the release of the movie or something like that, but he is fighting it, and I can kind of see his point. Zigzag, I know you probably did some research on this.
I did. I looked into it, into the crimes, and by my accounts of it, though, I don't think it has anything to do with those particular incidences that were based that that this guy is mad about. And granted, he has every right to be upset, but I don't think the two entities have anything to do with each other. This movie is not telling that story, so I really don't. I feel bad for everything they had to go through, and but. Barking up the wrong tree, really. Here, it's not.
I don't know. In the preview, they do show young girls, and then the one walking out of the woods, like she just did something real bad. So I think it does have something to do with it.
I think what Molly's talking about is early on. I mean, this movie's been in pre-production for 5 years at least. Early on, I think the script was closely based on what had happened in Wisconsin, but I think because of that legal issue, they switched it around and kind of, almost one of those, the names have been changed to protect the innocent kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, also the fact that there's a 7-foot Slender Man with 17-foot arms in it kind of tells me that it's not really based on that case. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, we can
Carl,
go
what
back
do you think?
Based on true events.
Exactly. Colonel, what else you got on Slender Man?
Come to find out, the Slender Man was a meme created by Creepypasta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it branched into all different types of art, literature, video games, a movie, so on and so forth.
Right.
Love the character.
Yeah, it's an interesting character, but I'm kind of with agreement on Zigzag. Anything to make a buck. For years now, teenagers have been blaming make-believe stuff for their actions. Let's go back to the Salem witch trials. It was a bunch of teenage girls got caught doing some stupid shit and said, "Oh, she's a witch, she's a witch." And look how many innocent people got murdered because of them. It's just an excuse for your bad behavior. And then since dawn time, no one wants to take
responsibility.
No responsibility. Yep. Somebody else's fault. Not my fault.
Well, and I don't want to get into this too far, but this kind of reminds me of at least the father's appeal to try to get this movie not released. Kind of reminds me of Jeepers Creepers 3, which had a very limited release, only pretty much for one day in theater, and then pulled. And I think it was released on like a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then
you had on demand the same day as well with that one.
Yeah. Well, and then a week later, it's free on the Sci-Fi Channel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, what the hell?
Wash your hands, get that one, get it out of here, Yep.
New dealer.
We're going to get a part 4, huh?
Right. It's going to be a different name. It'll be Creepers Jeepers or something.
I like it.
But it kind of reminds me of that, and I understand why Victor Salva is demonized. Mm-hmm. I completely understand that. I understand why the father doesn't want this movie capitalizing on the trauma that his kids went through, his community went through, other people involved in this. But you know what? It comes back to one of those old things that I've always felt. Art is pain. Mm-hmm. Art hurts. If it doesn't make you feel a little bit of pain, maybe it's not good. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, as far as the whole art is pain deal, I agree. Some of the best art comes from pain.
I feel it's like this, again, I don't see this as it was an attempt to get out there and capitalize on a horrible tragedy, more the character than the tragedy, but the climate of our society now is everything means something now, you know what I mean? So you almost can't do it if it's too close to something that happened or that's actually named in this case throughout it, you know what I mean? As the inspiration for why these kids did what they did. I mean, there's a bunch of them. There's kids that burned down their house. There's, all these crazy things in the name of the Slender Man. He made me do it, or he was going to do this and take me away. So, but art is, the lyrics and songs, I've been dealing with this for 30 years, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. And I think a lot of it has to do with the climate of the society now. So,
yep. Molly, what do you got?
what the art is paying thing. I mean, look at movies like Original Chainsaw. The shoot for that movie, especially the dinner scene, oh my lord, sweating their asses off. I mean, they went through hell in that scene, and it didn't stop. Now, and it paid off.
Maybe this movie can serve as like a warning to preteens and teenagers. Hey, don't get so wrapped up in some kind of internet phenomenon.
Oh, like eating Tide Pods?
Yeah. Quit eating the Tide Pods, kid. It could serve as a warning rather than capitalizing on it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Slender Man comes out in theaters May 18th. Next up, Channel Zero has a new installment of their anthology horror series coming out in February, next month. It's called Butcher's Block. Let's watch the trailer first, and then we'll talk about it.
I was wondering if I could talk to you about my sister. I took this job for her. We just needed a fresh start. Didn't even matter where.
Your worst fear is that you're gonna become me, isn't it? And there's nothing you can do about it.
Where have you been?
I met a man. The air was trembling all around him. It was flies. And they came together all in one voice, and it said, he could fix me.
What did you do to my sister?
In this place, away from craziness and cruelty, I will help you.
Don't you just want to be taken care of?
No pain.
You let me fair.
Don't be afraid.
Very hungry.
You're changing. Embrace it.
There you go, gang. That's the new Channel Zero Butcher's Block trailer. Premieres on Sci-Fi February 7th. Here, they say Butcher's Block is inspired by Carrie Hammond's Search and Rescue Woods creepypasta tale. Another creepypasta thing. Kids, don't take Channel Zero too seriously and, start killing people. It says a idealistic young woman who, upon moving to a new city, comes across a series of disappearances connected to a mysterious staircase in one of the area's worst neighborhoods. Along with her schizophrenic older sister, they discover what is preying on the city's residents. One thing I'm excited about for this version is that Rutger Hauer is in it, and that's one of the biggest stars that Channel Zero's had so far. It looks to be somewhat cannibalistic, almost maybe a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing. Molly, I know you had something to say about it.
Yeah, that's what I took from it, that there was going to be some sort of cannibalistic activity going on there. I don't know, there's a couple scenes that look like, there's some chomping on some human flesh going on there. It looks intriguing. I'm interested, so I'm going to watch the other seasons and then get going with this.
All the seasons are about 6 episodes, I think, so they're short. You can watch them, fairly quick in a day. It's not necessarily jump scare horror, but it's more psychological stuff. I really enjoyed the second season. First season was meh, but the second season was really good. So I'm looking forward to the third season, especially now with the inclusion of Rutger Hauer. The next thing we have to talk about is Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles coming to television soon. I'm kind of excited about this, especially now that they've added that Brian Fuller, who produced Hannibal for TV, is attached to it, attached to the project somehow. Basically, for those that don't know, Paramount Television, Anonymous Content, have optioned the rights to 11 books from Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, and Rice is going to be serving as executive producer along with her son, who's going to be a writer on the project. I'm not a huge fan of the novels, per se, because I'm not a teenage girl, but I do like the films that have been made. Are you guys looking forward to this at all? Let's start with Zigzag on this one.
I am a teenage girl, and I did dig the novels. No, really though.
Interesting.
I did read at least the first three: Vampire Chronicles, Lestat, and Queen of the Damned. Back in high school. Okay, these books kind of made you want to be a vampire, in my opinion. I dug them. You know, I thought the stories were cool, and they made vampires cool to me. You know what I mean? Not just the standard cape and blah blah blah. You know, but then the movie came out, which first view I liked it, but then the more I watched it, I really don't like it because it doesn't stick to that formula that the books did. At least the Chronicles, the first one. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a chance to clean that slate, and the way TV is these days, I have a lot of faith in it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm in. Thumbs up. I'm in.
I did read the first, I think it was the first two, Interview and then Vampire Lestat. I did read those. I didn't read any more than that just because it seemed to drag on so much in book form for me. Molly, what do you got on the this?
Interview with Vampire is actually one of my favorite vampire movies. I think
really?
It was different than a lot of the other ones, and I liked how the story just kind of went through the ages, and you know, it was good. You know, I don't care that Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise are in it. I mean, I thought they did a great job in that movie. So with Anne Rice, you know, working on it with Brian Fuller and her son, I thought it was her daughter, but her son, you know, hands on, I see it being pretty popular.
Oh, I think it'll definitely do well with the climate of horror on TV right now. Mm-hmm. I think this is a perfect time for this.
Oh, yeah.
Colonel, what do you got?
I'm looking forward to it. Much like Molly, the film is probably one of my favorite vampire films. But I think a lot of that has to do with the age. Well, you got to think, when that came out, I was, 10 years old? Yeah, we all know when you see stuff as a kid, it kind of has a little more special meaning to you. And I did read the book, Interview with the Vampire, didn't quite get all the way through it. But no, I think it's going to do very well. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. This Paramount channel, this is an upstart channel, correct?
Well, it's what used to be known as Spike.
Ah, see, I did not know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good, because the only thing I was a little iffy about was, well, if it's on an upstart channel, how many people are truly going to see this? I mean, it took me forever to finally get Chiller, and we all know what happened in Chiller.
Right. So Paramount Television is one of the production entities behind it. It could be picked up by virtually any channel.
Okay, I just need some clarity.
So safe to say it'll probably be Paramount Network.
Very possibly. I remember when the movie came out, everyone was irritated about, man, they made the vampires so wussy.
Yeah, it's got that beauty, elegance, but still vampires. It's got a really good story to it. That's what makes it good.
Yeah, that's true.
It was hip and slick. You know, Lost Boys is still my favorite. Interview with Vampires, top notch.
Because Lost Boys is what the vampires were supposed to be, just badass.
Badass. Near dark, badass. White Knight, badass.
Yeah, exactly. I am kind of shocked that you, especially Molly and Colonel, enjoyed the movies as much as you did. Because I kind of blame Interview with the Vampire for starting this whole sparkly vampire trend. But
the book is so not like that.
No, the books aren't. I agree. But I have not seen the any of the Twilight series. So, and no, I don't plan to. Again, not a teenage girl. Look like one, but I'm not. Let's talk about the new, just dropped on YouTube last week, Friday the 13th, Part 3, Memoriam documentary. Hey, Colonel, what do you think about it?
Oh, I thought it was very well done. I really appreciate the fact that it was in Memoriam, that they focused so much on Richard Brooker. Because we all know, I mean, you watch a lot of these Friday the 13th documentaries, you know, it's almost like the people who play Jason are just an afterthought. Oh, well, so-and-so did this, and they focus on the film. Really, the only complaint I have, I know a few of you guys really like this part, was where they went to the old scene where Jason killed the arsonist who burnt down Higgins Haven. I thought it was completely unnecessary and just took up too much time.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good documentary for what it was.
Yeah, that part was pretty stupid, but I see what they were doing, trying to inject a little humor into it. That's fine, I guess. If
you consider that humor. But.
Yeah. Molly, what do you think?
I thought it was fantastic, aside from the end. But yeah, like Colonel was saying, you know, more based on the actual actor that played Jason. And it was interesting hearing about him being an acrobat or a trapezist or something, and from the way he talked and stuff and the life he lived, he kind of just went from thing to thing, and you know, had a pretty interesting life. And it was nice learning about that. For being free and on YouTube, hey, it's definitely worth checking out, especially for a fan. I was pleased.
Right. Zigzag, what do you think of the Friday the 13th Part 3 Memoriam documentary?
You know what? We've been hearing about it for a few years now, and I'll be honest, you know, I expected a little bit more from it, but I did really like it, and it's a great tribute to Richard Brooker. My favorite part when they were talking about his stories, Adrian King's in there saying how he comes storming through the bar, you know, his big frame, and grabs a guy. And she's like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, this guy put something in your drink, and then took him outside and beat the shit out of him. That's awesome, you know? This sounds like a great stand-up guy. But I disagree with you guys on the ending. Yes, the production value wasn't great, but it was a really tongue-in-cheek fuck you to those punks that burned that down and got probation. I liked it. And I get where they were going, totally got it, well done. And, you know, if you're a fan of these movies, and everybody's on Kane Hodder's nutsack, we love Kane Hodder too, but these guys made Kane Hodder be Kane Hodder, okay? Let's face it. Ted White, Richard Brooker, rest in peace, brother, thanks. And see the movies. It's a great documentary. It's really good.
I was not as impressed with it as you guys were. They didn't really tell me anything new I didn't already know. Yeah. The only thing I think that I really didn't know about this was the trapeze artist deal that Brooker did before he got into acting. Everything else I had heard something about and knew more about. And there were even a couple of things I was kind of like, they didn't go into, they didn't go further into this, which I was kind of shocked by, because there were a couple of good stories that I've heard in other places that got left out. So I don't know. It's less than 40 minutes. Sure. Yeah. Is it worth your time? Absolutely. I think it would have been, I would like to know more about Richard Brooker, and have left the Friday the 13th stuff to, like, if you want to know about that, watch Crystal Lake Memories. I just picked that up this week, finally on DVD or on Blu-ray. I've got the book right back there.
A lot longer.
Get that. Get that. That's
a must watch.
That dives. Yeah, and also His Name Was Jason is a good one.
His Name Was Jason, yes. Tom Savini.
I like that one a lot.
Not as in depth as Crystal Lake Memories, but those two give you everything you need to know about Friday the 13th.
Absolutely.
This is definitely a companion piece to go along with everything like these guys just mentioned, for sure. But it is really cool to catch up with the actors 30 years later, 40 years later, getting there now, and seeing how they've aged. And there's a couple of them you're all like, who the hell is that? And you're like, no way. When you
the hippie. The hippie.
Exactly.
Yeah, the hippie. What the hell, man?
That threw me a curveball, man. I was like, what the hell, you old bastard?
Who's that guy?
Yeah, I was like, there is a new fan theory that has been posted online, basically saying, is Roy Burns from Friday the 13th Part 5 really Michael Myers from Halloween? I know. Let me read some of this. Why is the backstory of Friday the 13th Part 5 copycat killer Roy Burns so mysterious? Maybe it's because he's Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise. The first line, basically, of this theory and this article is, this may be an unpopular theory among fans after reading this, but hear me out. No, I don't want to hear you out. But I read the rest of the article anyway. So he lays out, the timeline, and again, doesn't seem to understand the timeline. We'll get into that here in a minute. But basically the theory is, as we all know, Roy's son was killed at the beginning of the movie by recklessness. You can see it in Roy's eyes that he's killed before. Halloween takes place in 1978. whereas A New Beginning takes place in 1985. This gives Michael Myers enough time to start a new life and mend his wounds from the events in Haddonfield at the hands of Dr. Loomis. They say Part 5 is also the first Friday the 13th film where we see Jason wearing a blue mechanic jumpsuit, and that's what Michael Myers also wears in Halloween.
That's all you got?
And he's basically saying that when Michael Myers finishes his murder spree in Haddonfield, he decides to become an ambulance driver, moves to Crystal Lake, ironically where another serial killer lives, and has a son, and that son gets killed, and he becomes Jason. That's the theory. Moly.
Still waiting for the punchline.
Moly. Talk to me, baby.
Besides of how absurd it all was when I first read it, Myers escapes in 78 from Smith's Grove and goes killing people. And so from 78 to 85 is 7 years. So after he got done trying to kill Laurie Strode and burned up in Part 2 and was put in a hospital until he was broke out in Part 4, apparently he must have met a nurse or somebody, fell in love, banged her, she got knocked up, and this kid grew super fast to get to like 17, 18 years old in 7 years to become Joey.
But like you said, I mean, first off, he says from 78 to 85, wrong. Halloween takes place in 78, although A New Beginning may have come, when did A New Beginning come out? Did it come out in 85?
Yeah.
It comes out in 85, but it takes place in 1989. Keep that in mind, because A New Beginning is 5 years after the events of Part 4.
Final chapter.
Because the final chapter, Tommy was 12. In A New Beginning, he's 17. And then in Jason Lives, he's 18. So
whose canon are we fucking following then? You know what I mean? That's why this idiot is so off base with this thing, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm just pointing out the math. The math doesn't work for your theory, for one.
No. I'm yelling at him.
And even your explanation of the beginning. Well, okay, let me read this part. Jason Voorhees was introduced to audiences at the end of the first Friday the 13th film, and then was a full-grown adult by the second film. I'm going to go over this one more time for the people in the back, okay? All right. Pamela Voorhees was born in 1930. I don't have a date. I don't like an exact date, but the year was 1930. July 13th, 1946, Jason is born. Where is it? Summer of 1957 is when Jason drowns. Okay? And then the events of Friday the 13th Part 1 take place in 1979. Jason in the first Friday the 13th film is a dream. That is it. He drowns in 57. He's born in 46. So in 79, he's going to be 33 years old. 5 years later, he's going to be 38 years old, which is when the events of Part 2 take place. So get that through your head. You don't have a kid, an 11-year-old kid from Part 1 that grows up to be an adult in Part 2. That's not what happens. Listen, watch the movies, and follow the timeline. It's convoluted, I understand, but that's it in a nutshell. That's the timeline. Got it? Colonel, take this away from me.
Okay, gentlemen, it's time to get serious here.
Oh, Jesus.
Glasses are coming off. All right, now I want to get close to you guys so you guys know. This fan theory is completely bogus with no evidence, okay? Crank did a great job touching up the timeline. I can't touch that. That's your number one theory breaker right there. Number two, okay, let's say Michael Myers did escape Haddonfield. So you're telling me for someone who has not spoke in 15 years, can approach a random woman and spit enough game to get some ass. No, this motherfucker's still talking like a 5-year-old. You want to touch my dinky? That's what he's talking like. Okay?
Yeah.
This is stupid. This fan theory, it's not as bad as Adam Marcus from last week, as you all might remember. But Part 5 is actually one of my favorite Friday the 13th films.
Really?
And anybody who believes in this fan theory, you are just way out of line. Take it away. I'm done.
Zag, you.
If you don't know or you don't get what this is, or this has been around 40 years now, and there's a lot of history to it. There's a lot of crazy paths through the twigs and shit you got to get to the end. We understand if you can't handle it, but ask questions. Don't come at us with this crazy fucking up our whole history thing that we've been following our whole time, man, because you're going to get smacked down from every angle.
I don't understand why people can't understand the timeline. When I first saw Friday the 13th, I was 7 years old. I went to a double feature of Friday the 13th, Part 1 and 2 in 1981. Drive-in double feature. My brother's in the back seat making out, tells me not to turn around. I'm watching the movie. Okay? That was it. It was his punishment for something. He had to take me on his next date. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I got to see 2 great films that have been with me for the rest of my life. So, at 7 years old, I didn't even have any question about the timeline. I understood it. You know why? There's dates on the bottom of the screen, like right there. And at the beginning of Part 1, at the beginning of Part 2, there's at the beginning of Part 1, it's 79. I understood the timeline perfectly. Why can't these people that are somehow writing articles like Mr. Michael Dotson, who wrote this ridiculous bullshit fan theory, how could they not get it? And then I want to come to the first and only comment that's on this fan theory. The comment is from Jera Matthews, and it says, Roy is Jason, dumbasses. When Jason is killed, the serpent scurries away, plotting revenge. Okay, time out. The serpent. Okay, so this person still thinks delusionally that Part 9 is canon.
This guy is taking Adam Marcus's stupidity, mixing it with this stupidity, and creating a stupidity child. It's
then
terrible.
go make your own fucking stupid movies. Don't take these movies and screw them up for us. All right, let me finish this comment. The serpent scurries away. He follows Tommy, awaiting a chance at revenge, to a halfway house where he enters the body of a young man named Vic. He wants to lay low and focus on a plan, but Fat Joey bugs him too much, so he loses it and kills Joey. In jail, Joey's father visits Vic, and Jason leaves Vic's body and enters Roy's. He goes on a rampage, almost killing Tommy, but again, this body is destroyed, so Jason lays low. One night, he follows Tommy and a friend sneaking out of the asylum. It's the perfect chance, but then he discovers they've gone to the graveyard and dug up his grave. Jason returns to his old body for old time's sake when it's hit by lightning, and they are brought back together. Roy is Jason. Jason is Roy. You can shut the fuck up.
Oh, my.
Jump in on this. Colonel, go ahead.
That is quite possibly worse than the original fan theory. Okay, come on. The serpent so he's just crawling around following Tommy for years. It's all pretty obvious that Roy Burns is not Jason. Come on. Did you hear Joey talking about everybody in the beginning of the film before he gets killed, being an orphan? He doesn't know who his father is. Okay, is it a little weird that Roy stuck around and watched him from a distance as a paramedic? Sure. Okay, but that still makes more sense than this fucking worm zapping in and all these different people and following Tommy around until he gets his body back. This guy just ate too many fucking Tide Pods. That's all I'm going to leave it at that.
Molly.
I must have missed this worm. I didn't see him in Part 5.
No.
Maybe I wasn't looking in the right spot. Maybe it was because of the dark and the rain at the end. I must have missed him. But shit, I thought I would have seen the serpent, Jason.
Whew. You would think so, right?
Who's the guy who killed Joey with the axe?
Vic.
I didn't know that Jason really talked either.
Right.
Okay. And
makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it, Molly?
I don't even think I can. I'm not even gonna give this guy any. No. Go ahead, Zag. I'm not giving him anything.
Zag, you take it.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't dignify a response. I mean, it's so ridiculous. And, you know, again, I feel like you guys are just throwing this thing, throwing it out there. It almost offends me that you're bringing this shit to my world. You know what I mean? This has got nothing to do with it. You're wrong on every aspect. Just stop thinking. Maybe go back and watch these things. Try watching them once and get an opinion on it before you start making this dumb shit up, because it's got nothing to do with anything that this is. Not at all. You want to see a better version of Part 9, go watch The Hidden, okay? And then you'll be a lot happier. But yeah, this person, they don't deserve a response. So let's move along.
My final thoughts on it are, you know what? Fan theories are great. Keep them to yourself if they're a piece of shit like this. How about that? All right?
Yeah.
We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with viewers' mail, viewer questions, and a couple other things. I can't do anything right now. We'll be back right after this.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
All right, it's time for us to talk to you guys. Let me ask you a question.
Little pigs, let me come in. Here's Johnny.
All right, viewer Brucey Kick asks, you don't agree that Jason is a Deadite. Now you don't like that Roy Burns could be Michael Myers. Why do you guys not like different films crossing over and inhabiting the same universe? That's a good question, sir. Zag, why don't you talk to him about this?
I personally never said I didn't like crossovers at all. I'm actually quite a fan when done well. You know, I mean, I go back to the old Universal days when Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, all them used to do it, and it was glorious, great. excellent, entertaining. But just to do it, and to try to combine things to make money, or because you think it's cool, maybe. I mean, it sounds to me like you're kind of on the Adam Marcus train, buddy, which I gotta kind of, pass you off as a troll. But it's this. Real quick, the theme of this show is this. These studios don't care about the general horror fan, the real horror fans. They're going to keep cranking it out, and this kind of falls right in line with that again. I mean, I don't know, maybe Brucey works for one of these, but yeah, I'm all for a crossover when done right, and that makes sense.
Yeah. In Brucey Kick's defense, he's not necessarily saying he is a fan of crossovers, but he's asking why we are such non-fans, I guess. Colonel, talk to us about this.
Stand by my statement.
I'm with Ziggy. I'm all for a crossover if it's done properly. Freddy versus Jason. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, going back to the Universals. Monsters. It has to be done properly and make sense. Now, these fan theories that came out, the one we just discussed, there's no evidence, makes no sense. BS.
Yeah.
Jason being a deadite, BS, no evidence other than a little Easter egg of an Necronomicon. You have to do it right, or it's garbage. As simple as that.
I got you. Moley, talk to us about this.
All right, Bruce, you kick. But there's some universes you don't cross. You don't cross DC and Marvel. Okay? You just can't do that. Two different universes. There's some universes in the horror genre you don't want to cross. I mean, that would be like crossing Hellraiser with Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, how would that work? I mean, if done correctly, sure, I don't mind a crossover. Freddy versus Jason wasn't too bad. The end fight scene I thought was all right. There are a lot of things that could have been better, but shit. Ronnie, you doing it and not watching any of the other movies? Sure. Put a little fresh spin on it. Yeah, but if Brucey Kick, you do agree with Adam Marcus and this whole theory, well then you need to get off the can or wherever you're coming up with these questions, and hit the bricks on it.
I actually like the question. I don't mind, like these guys, I don't mind a good crossover when it's a good crossover, when it's done correctly, or at least done in a way that, pays homage to both series and brings them together. A lot of you guys mentioned the old Universal monsters meeting each other. I'll throw even something further out at you. How about Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein?
I was just going to say that.
Loved it.
Yes.
Loved it. Grew up on movies like that. Loved Abbott and Costello watched, back in the day. How about Scooby-Doo and the Harlem Globetrotters?
Yep.
Stuff like that. Those were good crossovers.
Done right.
Made sense. Those had people attached to the project that were fans of both. And it just worked, When you got shit in your brain, then you come up with stuff like this, That's the problem. All right. I hope that answered your question, Brucey Kick. All right, next up, we've got our viewers' choice videos.
Live or die. Make your choice.
We play the game Friday the 13th almost every night on PS4. Join us if you'd like, or watch us on YouTube, Moley Michael channel. Here's some info for you right now. Here are 3 videos from the last week or so that we like. We hope you do too. And watch these and then vote on your favorite online.
It's like a nice place to hang out and dance the night away.
What did you say, Chip? Yeah.
Any interesting camp stories you guys got to share?
Alright, it was a dark, stormy night, just like this. I was sitting at home watching a movie and enjoying myself. And the phone rang. When I answer it, it's, hello? Hello? There's no one there. Hang up the phone. It rings again. I go, hello? Hello? And then I hear a woman's voice say, I'm pregnant and you're the father.
Oh, shit, I didn't see that coming. I thought it was your work telling you come in work Saturday.
I'm just cruising around on top of the car.
Hold up, I gotta shoot crank. I gotta get out of here. Let me out, don't touch me.
Hey! Oh shit! Oh my god! The fuck? I got to save that one. You better save this one. This one's been
Push it! Push it! Jason, you can push it.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
There's a big get in the car.
Oh, I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it. You gotta hit it from the wheel side.
Okay. Well, won't that put it on its end, though?
Well, that's the only way you can really move it. I think. I don't think you can. I don't think you can move it from messing with the top.
Oh, it's against the tree. That's why.
Well, and it's against the tree. Hold on.
Jesus Christ, Bobby, you came flying in there and just BAM!
There we go.
There it goes.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Oh, great.
So we think of cars.
Oh, that's
Here,
funny.
give me the battery. I'll pretend
I'll wait
to
for
work
that.
No, no, no.
But I'm gonna go there and grab that battery and pretend to work on it. Don't drop the battery yet.
Pick it back up.
I can hear him.
I'm teabagging this dude.
He's so mad.
Here, drop the battery. I'll pick it up. Hold on.
Oh man,
Wait,
keep
no,
keep away with the battery. Oh hell yeah! All right, you got to go somewhere else with another guy, Brian Numbers, and give it to Bobby or Zag.
Give it to Tyler, so he knows it's somebody else.
Here, hang on, let me fix you up there.
Do it, pick it up.
That's just fucking dick random. He played it.
Keep away the battery.
I'll block him. Ready? Here we go.
Drop it.
Drop the battery.
Drop it and let's and Zag or the other Bobby pick it up.
Yeah, let me pick it up.
Yeah, right there's a good spot.
Come on, Brian. Brian went to game chat. He can't hear us.
Yeah.
God damn, Brian. Come back to party. He getting in the thumbs up. He getting in the thumbs up.
I should probably be quiet, huh?
Numbers, you got to drop the battery so Bobby and you can and Zag can pick it up and just keep away from him.
No.
He's picked up something.
Bobby?
He dropped the
Bobby,
ace
get
spray.
ready.
I'm ready.
Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Oh, he got it!
Me.
Bobby!
He snagged
He
it!
wouldn't let me.
Stand in front of the door so he can't drive. Block the driver's side door, all three of you.
I'll block the thing.
Stand in front of the battery.
That's what I'm trying to do. It won't let me.
He's mad as hell.
He can't do it! There, now you let him. Now stand in front of the door so he can't drive away. There, just like that.
Think I did that
Suck a dick, suck a dick, suck a big old dick. It's a dick in your mouth. Don't let him. Don't let him.
Shit. Hey, that's okay. I'm gonna get back.
All right, stand in front of the car. Stand behind the car.
Take his kills away.
Okay, all set. Time to get out of here.
He's gonna back up. Get out of the car. Get out of the car and get in the back.
Alright, but if he stops, I will. Oh, shit.
There he goes.
Oh, he ran me over.
Get in front behind it.
I can't. He ran off.
Chase him. He might hit something.
Enjoy
Get in front of the car. Get in front of the car.
No.
He hit it. Yeah. Stay behind it. He's gonna have to run you over.
There, straight or behind. Get behind the car.
Let him kill you.
Holy shit. It's starting.
Yes!
Minus 3,000, bitch.
Minus 3,000.
All right, those 3 videos will be on deathcursesociety.com. Go visit our website, vote on your favorite, and we'll pick one next week. All right, we got to take one more quick break, and we shall be back after this to give out our award, the SAD Award. But don't be sad. Don't be sad. We'll be back.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back. Hold that thought, baby. I'll kill you! God, you're good. Man, you should have seen your face. No, stop her!
Do you like Death Curse Society?
Support the DCS by advertising with us. We have several different ways to advertise. Sponsor a segment or a complete show, 30 or 60-second commercials, product placements or service discussion, banner ads with links on our interactive website, full website page sponsorships, get Facebook and Twitter mentions from our host or special guest, special shout-outs on our YouTube channel, and more. You can even advertise regionally through our website and keep your costs down, or ask about our package deals to save even more. Visit our website at deathcursesociety.com and click on the advertising sponsorship link under contact on the main menu. Thanks.
All right, most of you know what this is. It's time for the Suck a Dick Award.
Suck a dick!
Our winner for the Suck a Dick Award this week is Michael Dotson, the author of this fan theory that Roy Burns is Michael Myers. Michael Dotson, you are the proud winner of the Suck a Dick Award. So, guess what?
Suck a dick!
All right. And just by the way, honorary mention goes to Jara Matthews for that terrible comment about Roy is Jason and Jason is Roy. You guys, you need to watch more of the movies, and just maybe if you guys got together and shared a brain, you might almost have half a brain amongst you.
Yeah, a little bit of basic research will take you a long way in life, gentlemen.
Just watch them. Just watch them. Obviously, you haven't watched them enough.
Or obviously, you've only watched 5 and 9.
Yeah,
and probably backwards.
Guess what? There were 6 movies before you were born. 6 movies before you were born.
Yeah.
I saw part 9 and 5, so they got to be same.
Those are canon. Anything else to say to these guys besides, suck a dick?
Suck a dick, and you suck a little dick.
Split it in half. You get the nuts. You get the shaft. Enjoy.
Yeah, share that award.
And don't forget to swallow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. Colonel, talk to him.
Hey, I just want to give out a special thanks to Filmora. And you can join us nightly on Molly's YouTube channel. Molly Michael. Come watch us, have some laughs, join the game. Let's get some Jason kills. Let's do it.
Yeah. Moley.
Right. Yeah. Check us out at www.deathcursesociety.com. We got all our information on there. Hot new thing. Woo! T-shirts, baby! Oh! Be sure to get yours or anybody else.
All right. Zigzag.
We're social, we're media, we're lonely. Give us likes, give us shares, get out there and support us anywhere you can. We're any Twitter, anything we got. And especially you're a Froggy Jason out on Friday the 13th, the game out on the PlayStation 4. Step on up. The DCS has something to say to you.
Bring it.
Bring it on. All right. Next week, we're going to watch lots of trailers, including Victor Crowley, Winchester, and a whole lot more. And we're also going to have a little bit of a discussion about, we kind of started it tonight, about mainstream horror and independent horror. We're going to have that discussion big time next week. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Like they said, make sure to visit the website, like and share. Tell your friends all about us, and join us next week for more on Death Curse Society. This is Red Crank, the Colonel, Moley, and Zigzag. DCS out. See you next week.
Ow! Ah! Stay cursed, motherfucker!
That was fucking good. That was fucking good. I love that. And not just because I went off, but that was fucking, everyone went off for a little bit. Fuck this guy, and fuck his mom.
I'm slapping in the face with my dick.
Boom, boom. Here's your serpent, bitch. This might be our end credit roll right here. I can already tell.
Jesus, man.